To the entire TS community, I will warn you now. This video is just complaining and will not benefit the community or game sales, and I'm very aware of that. I did that once, and now that it's been quite a while later, and I have a lot more experience and time under my belt with the game and this godforsaken community, I want to dive a little bit into the Toge Shakai iceberg, as people like to call it. For new viewers or subscribers who have never seen this game before, take this as a video on how not to develop a game, as a way to throw a cash cow away for no good reason, how to abandon an incredibly active and dedicated community. This video will be no holds barred, possibly even a little unhinged, and maybe even unreleasable. So let's have a little bit of fun. As a quick explainer, Toge Shakai is a racing game set around Japanese mountain roads. It's a spiritual successor to the initial D arcade games and a literal successor to Initial Unity, another project that August took out back and shot like a dog in the 80s. It's kind of funny because even the inception of Toge Shakai, to me, feels a little bit malicious. See, IU was August's first game, to my knowledge, and released for free on its own website for download. Probably because IU steals from the Assetto Corsa modding community as well as models from Initial D Arcade. Even though TS is sold on Steam and also has stolen assets from IDTA, but I guess that's a deep cut. Long story short, August abandoned IU so that he could make Toge Shakai, and to figure out why, we can look no further than the corpse of the TS Kickstarter page, and the two skeletons who supported the $1,000 tier. Why Kickstarter? Toge Shakai is about building a community that's enthusiastic about Japanese mountain racing. After running a successful Discord server for Initial Unity, it helped shape the game and give us ample feedback by directly interacting with our players daily. We would like to continue having that same relationship with our players to be able to improve and build on the game that we dream to create. So in turn, they abandoned IU for no reason that they ever openly told the community, because there's absolutely no reason that you couldn't keep shaping IU and pretending that it was to enhance or interact with players daily is just a straight up lie. August hasn't communicated in his own Discord server in over a year, only messaging when new updates come out. And when he was messaging, there's some interesting things you can find from digging around when the game came out. Like, someone asked, August, will there be multiplayer? And he replies saying yes, with dedicated servers, matchmaking, and ranking. Yeah, no, this never happened. We got dedicated servers, they suck. They've sucked since the game released. And August knows this because community leaders have had to personally reach out to him to fix a glitch where players could input wrong passwords into locked lobbies to crash the server. You have to restart your game after you leave lobbies, or as a host who needs to return to lobby after anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes because it's that inconsistent. During our TFG events, 1 to 2 players lagged out almost every single full race. The ping makes it almost impossible to spectate a full race without a car blipping into the shadow realm for a moment, making you think that they crashed when they really never move. God forbid matchmaking and ranked. The fucking free roam lobbies are iffy at best. Someone said, yo, divisions like CSGO, you get matched with people of your level. And then August replied, yes, that is the basis of the matchmaking system. Like, I want to keep things very clear. August even clarified that it was supposed to have a ranked divisions type of matchmaking. You almost made double your original Kickstarter goal, and we still to this day never even got stable free roam lobbies. So I don't want to hear the bullshit of we didn't get enough money for development or we got too busy, because August himself said that he would be working on TS full time, with Ara having an open window soon to also work on it full time. So let's take a moment to appreciate everything that August did with $23,000 USD and seemingly 4 years of free time. TS has 10 tracks and 19 cars. They've added fog and rain, as well as a drone that literally no one uses because it's functionally unflyable, VR support that blows ass in a game with a rampant memory leak, wheel support, which actually isn't bad, but 3 of the wheel settings in the menu are completely broken and don't do anything. We have 3 multiplayer modes, PvP, free roam, and team battles. I have literally never seen anyone using team battles, and we don't use it competitively either. No ranked system, no matchmaking, no divisions. We can make teams in game, but they're functionally useless because you can't communicate in game with other teams or matchmake against other full teams because, again, no matchmaking system, all of which maxes out at just 10 players, by the way. Single player has just 2 modes, time attack and tofu run, but literally no one plays tofu, and player testing is determined, to my knowledge, that tofu damage is almost completely random. We just got a new walkable garage, which is pretty cool, but some players criticize it for being a loading screen to the livery editor, which is kinda true, but I am glad that there's some semblance of quality of life being added to the game, even though lobby hosts still don't have any moderation tools in vanilla, and even the modded ones still let kicked people just sit in your chat, which is great when you're dealing with a surprisingly racist community and trying to stream on Twitch at the same time. Very cool stuff. So let me ask you a question. Is 23,000 freedom units worth 10 tracks and 19 cars over 4 years of development, with a broken matchmaking system and broken promises when you already had a free game with an active community literally dry heaving for more content that had the exact same foundation as the abomination you just created? And the answer is no. Like, any way that you cut it, the answer is no. TS released in January 2023 on Steam, with the first major update adding the NSX and licensed Eurobeat. God knows what that costed them. The next major update came 2 months later, adding the FD and part unlocking. That same month in March, the AE86 got added, as well as the PvP mode. Finally, a month later, we get a new track with Futatabi. For clarification, it had been 4 months of development before one track got added. 1 month later, in May, the Evo and Sakano Suji got added, as well as the spectator mode and decal sharing. Another month later, we got Hapagahara and the 350Z. To recap real quick, in 6 months, we got 5 cars and 3 tracks. In the next 5 months, we got 5 more cars, the tofu system and the weather system, before development died for 3 months. When they finally came back, we got Tsuchisaka, my beloved, and Rain, which to this day kind of feels like shit. Sorry. The game then died for 3 more months until they added VR, which again, fucking blows, and Miyogi, the Subway Surfers of TS. Might I remind you that out of the 2 years of development so far, 6 whole months are completely abandoned in updates, that out of the 2 years of development so far, 6 whole months are completely abandoned in updates. We didn't get updates for 2 more months, and it came out with team battles, which again, no one uses, and the FC, which almost everyone unanimously agrees drives like shit. And no one runs it in competitive or in regular like free roam lobbies, or it's just a shit car. We're also up to 8 months of no development overall. The next update came out 2 months later, adding the unflyable drone and sodomine. The game then goes 7 fucking months with no updates other than the team system, which again is completely useless. That marks 15 months of empty development, which then adds the GT86, and then we got the most recent update, the MR2 and the garage overall. 3 months later. Everything about TS's development makes so much more sense when you realize that the game has truly only been developed for about 17 months out of the 2 years that it's been out in early access. Fucking ridiculous. That's what $23,000 of community money buys, I guess. So, what now? Like, what do we actively do with all of this information as a community? Absolutely nothing. Hope that August locks in, I guess. Because like I said in the last, much happier, nicer TS video, Toge Shakai is still the only game that does what it does. And Tarakai is still the only community that's dedicated to Toge racing. Like, anywhere, believe me, I've looked. And that's still really cool. But goddamn, when I tell you me and my team of absolute degenerates are looking for literally any opportunity to jump ship to something better, we are. But the fact of the matter is that it doesn't exist outside of other disciplines of racing. And even then, it's not nearly as accessible as Toge Shakai is. To just be able to pick up a controller with a toaster PC and still have the ability to hit near world record times. There's no other community in racing where you can hit up another team of 6 dudes to do practice sessions or friendly races to hone your craft. There's just not another game that has the same community aspect that the TS community has. That the TS community, and more namely the Touge community, has created, even though you guys are unhinged as fuck as well. To the guys who are deep in the trenches of the TS community, I want to clarify that I don't hate TS. I'm just frustrated on how bad the game got fumbled. And you should be angry at the amount of broken promises as well. But I do still love the game, and I do still support the community. And if one of the developers are watching this, which one of you were last time, for the love of God, at least make a statement. At least tell us what's going on. And if you're done with TS, which it seems like you clearly are, give us the modding tools, work with our community, give us the tools that we need to make a TS game we can enjoy forever. There are so many people in the community hungry to make this game amazing and to bring new people into the game. We have an entire content creation team. I've made 6 TS videos by myself with at least 3 more on the way. We have community modders, we have coders, developers, artists, testers, and you just don't care to tap into it. At least tell us why. Well, as I was making this video, he did. So let's break it down. Earlier today on November 7th, Carrie made an announcement in Touge's Discord. Not the official Discord, which details some words from August that explain lack of development. And no, Carrie is not a developer for this game. He's just the server owner of Touge. So I'm already left with the question of, why not post this yourself in your own Discord? Like, okay, he's communicating, but this is the most roundabout, weird way of communication ever. You would think after having nothing but update logs being sent from August in his official Discord for over a year that he might want to actually address shit himself. But moving on to the actual message. Hey guys, yeah, sorry about the lack of communicating. Brother. This is the most tone-deaf opener to an apology post I've ever seen in my life. Someone bust out the fucking ukulele. The issue is that the roadmap is kinda already out of whack due to technical and other logistical issues. The general plan now is to try to get what's done to get the game to 1.0, which mainly boils down to trying to complete things that we previously tried to but couldn't get done. Okay, first of all, explain the technical and logistical issues. That means literally nothing when you say it like that, and does not explain 17 months of missing development. We have community developers and modders who could be helping with these issues if you were open about it. But to be honest, I think this is just a bullshit excuse for never working on the game. Also, what roadmap? We weren't aware of a roadmap. If you mean the features list from the Kickstarter, let me remind you that almost everything in the features list is half finished or fully broken. Let's go through it. Dedicated servers crash players constantly. We also have no moderation tools with the 10-player lobby cap. After about 10 to 15 minutes, you can't return to lobby or the server will crash you and you have to restart your entire game. Cosmetic car customization is actually fine. Some cars are definitely lacking in body kit customization, but the community, including myself, have made some really cool stuff with the livery editor and with the car customizer, so I can't complain that bad. Online matchmaking and ranking does not exist at all. Multiple online game modes. Team battles are functionally useless because you can't challenge other teams in game. PvPs are good. Free roam would be fine, but suffers from the dedicated servers and the crashing issues and the other myriad. Driver and team profiles. We have this, but the team profiles are basically useless because of having no matchmaking or rank system in game. Replay camera editor is known for being janky and half finished. Community members have had to make full tutorials for it, and I know it breaks quite often for the select few people in the community who ever do use it. It would be nice to see this get a full overhaul so that we could more efficiently make community content to advertise the game, because Lord knows August isn't gonna do it. The in-game music player is fine. How would it not be? That's barely a feature, and you still have to manually put MP3 files into the music player. It's not accessible in the sense that you can import music in game. Most people I know just take all the songs out so that the pop up for switching songs doesn't appear on the screen and distract you. Different weather conditions, rain, fog. Again, rain is extremely resource heavy and bad for competitive battles overall due to balancing. The fog is fine, but again, resource heavy as hell. Like, look at Toge Shakai's graphics and tell me why modern PCs are struggling with it. Progression. Unlock new cars and parts as you hit objectives. This just doesn't exist in the way that you think it does. All of the cars are unlocked to you, so you don't unlock new cars. You do unlock new parts, but it's all purely cosmetic and takes a very long time to unlock unless you're XP glitching in the modded Mario Kart maps. Steering wheel support is broken and has been broken since implementation. 3 of the settings in here just don't do anything, with some wheels just not working at all. But he addresses that and we'll get there. Finally, VR support, which I couldn't even get to work when I last tested it and literally no one uses. So out of all the features you had planned for 1.0, 2 of them work as expected. And it's the livery editor and the music player. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. One of which that I managed to get done this time is finally functional wipers and raindrops on the glass. It was actually supposed to come out together as part of the rain update, but we couldn't get it done at that time and had to release without it. I managed to get it done this time with some assistance from AI, which helps with shader code that I'm not good with. It may not be the best looking, but it's performant and the graphical effect runs purely on the GPU, which I tested runs pretty well even on the Steam Deck. AI, man. Ugh. Fucking just code the rest of the game with ChatGPT for us then. Jesus fucking Christ. But anyways, raindrops on glass in a game with a memory leak that people disconnect from during competitive events that we barely ever run in rain because the puddles are inconsistent and bad for balance as well as PC performance. Look, I'm glad the game is being worked on. Don't get me wrong. But maybe the roadmap is out of whack because your priorities are set on raindrops and functional wipers instead of fixing the major issues we've been screaming about forever. I also tried to revisit the force feedback issue, which plagued the game for a long time, which doesn't let some brands of wheels such as Moza or PXN work. But it seems it's just too difficult to figure out what's wrong with it without having those wheels hands-on, and we just don't really have the budget for it. This is one of the major roadblocks for 1.0, and it's really frustrating. I like how you don't mention the 3 broken settings in the wheel settings menu, but alright. 10% of TS's Kickstarter funding went solely into wheel support, which would be $2,300. Not including money made from game sales. You can buy a Moza R3 for $300. You can buy a PXN wheel for $200 to $300. So that's only $600 out of your $2,300 development cost. Add a Fanatec wheel in there for $600 and we still have over $1,000 left in the budget for steering wheel development cost. August, this is just a fucking lie. It was well within your budget to have these wheels on hand for development. And even if it wasn't, you have an entire active community willing to do the testing for you. So stop making these bullshit excuses for bad development and lazy work. It's also a constant development thing to find new ways to optimize the game further and improve some graphical effects. I'll go into further details about it when releasing the update itself, but let's just say that the blur effect when wheels are spinning got a pretty decent upgrade and the rendering of shadows should become cheaper. I'm sorry, but no one cares about the blur effect on wheels at this point. If shadow rendering is cheaper and we have marginally better performance, then great, but we'll see. Between these technical upgrades, it's also a balance to spend time adding new content. There should be a new car for you guys to test soon, and more modding options for the cars. After releasing this update, I want to ask you guys for some opinions about the final step for 1.0. It's actually pretty close, as one of the most promised features that were announced from early access are done. There are some hurdles and some compromises that I think have to be made from the initial plan, such as competitive stuff clashing with modding and plans for driver levels. As I went over earlier, only 2 of the features on your roadmap are actually fully functional. Almost everything you've already developed needs to be heavily fixed or needs a full overhaul. So I hope that we're not close to 1.0, because if this is how shit's gonna be left, then we're just stuck with an early access fever dream project literally forever. Once again, I still enjoy TS. I still care about the community and the longevity of the game. But this is just such blatant bullshit that I can't help myself from calling it out. And recently, I left the content creation staff side of Tadakai. So, this and the final TFG highlight will be the last that you see of me from that side. But still look out for IA streamed practices and races, because until AC Evo becomes finished or Horizon 6 is miraculously a banger, I'll still be here. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys later.